Hello, I am live. Finally, I apologize for the delay, some technical difficulties as usual. Um, yes, I'm very excited. It is Friday. It is humid as hell in New York right now, but trying to keep cool. I do have work later, and so hopefully by the time I have to leave for work, it will have cooled off a bit because my goodness, it's not even like hot. It's like only 70, but it just that humidity is killing us over here. So, hope you all are having a very happy Friday. I do have some fun things to talk about today. We are going to talk about the season finale of The Rehearsal and Nathan Fielder's CNN interview, which was amazing. I love Nathan Fielder so much, and I think the way he's handling any critique from the government is just been phenomenal. And then I definitely have to talk about a movie that took me way too long, that took way too long for me to see, which was Sonic 3. I finally saw it. I know it's been out for a long time and I didn't have a lot of time when it came out in theaters and I loved the first two. So I'm finally happy to say that I did finally watch that. So we can talk about that as well. And then another thing, the third topic will be on the TV side of things, which is season 5 of You. I did just watch the Folie à Deux episode, and when you watch it, you're like, wow, these people actually knew what Folie à Deux meant, unlike the creators of Joker 2 Folie à Deux, because they did not get it at all, and they didn't even reference it, but they thought it sounded cool. So it's like, let's just throw this tagline onto Joker 2, and people will get it. And then people got excited even more because they learned what it meant. And then they didn't do anything with it. So I'm happy to see at least in You season 5, they actually do make an episode called Folie à Deux and actually do what it says and has these characters interact in a way or like, kind of revelations that happened in the episode that, yes, do fall in line with that saying. So um, without further ado, folie à deux, without further ado, um, let's jump into Sonic 3, especially because Justin has said, have a blessed stream. Nerdy Film Girl, Sonic 4 seems promising. And I still want to see Sonic 3 have fun. Yes, I highly recommend Sonic 3, and you can stream it. So there's no excuse now. I was really hard on myself, too. I was like, why didn't I not watch this yet? And it's great. So you'll have a blast. And Keanu Reeves is Shadow, and it's adorable and phenomenal. Luke, nice to see you here. Thanks so much for stopping by. Hope you are staying cool and hanging out there on a Friday. Hope you're having a great weekend. Terrace House Guy, nice to see you here as well. So yeah, let's jump into it. We'll start with Sonic just because that makes, I feel like, the most sense to start with. And here we are. So as far as Sonic 4 goes, I'm glad I finally saw Sonic 3, obviously, but Sonic 4, Sonic the Hedgehog 4 in development for 2027, Variety reports. And now I want to preface this. I was a huge Sonic person when I was playing Sega. So when I was like a kid, I had Sega. And then before I jumped to N64, that's pretty much all I played. I played a few other things, but Sonic was like my number one thing. And then I remember getting some like hate comments of that I wasn't an actual Sonic fan because I didn't know who Shadow was. And that's literally because as soon as I got an N64, I kind of stopped playing Sega. I stopped playing Sonic for the most part, and I just was playing Mario. And then, in high school, I got a PS2 and all that stuff. So that's why I don't know who Shadow is. And I didn't like, I'm probably not going to know more characters that they introduced into the Sonic films. I loved Shadow. I loved what they did with his character arc. I love so many things they did with this movie. And Jim Carrey was phenomenal. So this is why we pay Jim Carrey the big bucks. And it's taking a role that doesn't have to be great. He could have just phoned it in, and he didn't. And I love the fact that he even like breaks the fourth wall at a certain point and says to the audience, like, it's almost like two actors playing the same role, or one actor playing two roles in the same movie. No, sorry, the same. Yeah, I forget how the phrasing was, but it was kind of like referencing the whole Lindsay Lohan thing and like The Parent Trap, something like that. It was great. And again, did not miss a beat. I kind of liked how he teamed up with Sonic a little bit in the beginning, even though we know he's evil. But it worked out. It worked out really well. And Shadow was such an interesting character. he's kind of like an anti-hero, not full on, because he definitely joins them towards the end, but it's really just misunderstandings. And it's, if you look at the dichotomy of like where Sonic landed and the experience Sonic had when he first got here, and the family that he was able to have with James Marsden and everything like that, it's completely different than Shadow's experience. And I think that speaks volumes for life in general and how you interact with people, because it really is, is your experience being exposed to something like this or not exposed to something like this, different scenarios or situations that other people have gone through that you haven't, or vice versa, and how you act in the world, and how you just go through everyday life, and the people that you surround yourself with, or the people that you just everything is kind of shaped by that and molded by that. And Shadow, his experience was not happy. I mean, he had Maria in his life, but besides that, it was just a science experiment, pretty much. Not as bad as Rocket in Guardians 3, but still very similar. So, he has such a hard shell, and he doesn't necessarily want to open his heart to anyone ever again. And he he villainizes people very easily because of that. Whereas Sonic, like, can't understand why he's being like this, and he's kind of being a villain, and it does come because even though they're having the same experience of both coming to planet Earth, in the United States, and they are just having the completely different upbringing and different experiences. And I love how that was put, and I love how they did, though, like, they're on the moon, a beautiful animation. They're both laying down on the moon looking at the stars, and that is something that they can bond over and like have a very serious conversation and see where each other are coming from. And I just thought that was just such a beautiful, beautiful moment, and I'm so happy I saw Sonic 3. Did not let me down at all. Let's get into the chat a little bit. David, hello, how's it going? Nice to see you. Caleb Drew, hey NFG, do you think the actor from You will be typecast in the future? Asking for my acting class. I don't know. So I know he's from Gossip Girl, and I never watched that. He didn't. I mean, he kind of already is typecast in the sense that he works on the Upper East Side in You. So he's same neighborhood. Like, if you're watching season 5, that's literally all took place in the Upper East Side. So, which is where Gossip Girl took place, as far as I know. So, I mean, who knows? I think he's gonna. I think it's a very pivotal moment for, though, like, what he chooses next. Because otherwise, yes, he will definitely just be typecast. I'd like to see him in a movie. I think that would be really interesting to see what type of project that he chooses. Dimension Scott, hello, how is it going? Happy Friday. Maxfield is at work. Hola, NFG. Hola, hope work is not being terrible for you. I have several friends who love the Sonic movies. I was big into Sonic for years, so I definitely need to fix that. Yeah, they're so good. And like, I really was, I didn't have low expectations for Sonic 3, but like, it was one of those things, oh, I'll get around to it. And like, oh my God, it blew me away. So great. I do plan on seeing Phoenician Scheme next week, hoping it's good. I know, I want to that's the new Wes Anderson film. I'm going to be taking like as much, if I have like, I think I have like 2 days off starting in June something. I'll have 2 days off a week, which I can't even believe. And I'm literally going to take one of those days and do a double, maybe triple feature of movies in the theater that I haven't seen, because I'm so behind, Luke. But that's awesome. I'd love to hear your thoughts once you see it. Aging myself here, but my first Sonic game was Sonic Advance 3 for the Game Boy Advance. Well, I don't know what year that was, but if it was the same as Sega, then we might be the same age, unless that's even earlier than Sega. I had a Game Boy where I had the Wario game on it. That was my Game Boy, but I don't remember what model it was. It was so long ago. I love all 3 Sonic movies. After the post-credit scenes in Sonic 3, I'm even more excited for the next one. Yes, me too. I'm super, super excited for the next one. Hey, Wilkie, nice to see you. How's it going? And again, as I said, I stopped playing Sega. I stopped playing Sega and Sonic as soon as I got an N64, and then that was that, unfortunately. But I still play it here and there now because we do have some type of thing that's capable of playing that. I forget what it's called. Max would know. Oh my God, Terrace, you're so kind. In Joe's voice, oh, you, Penn Badgley will never be typecast. You and I both know you wouldn't want him to be typecast. Oh man, I got to practice my Joe cadence. But yes, that's great. That's so good. Thank you so much. That's so kind. So kind. Sonic 3, Sonic Advance 3 was summer of 2004 in the US. I was almost 10. Okay, I think, yeah, then I would be, yeah, so I am older than you. So I think that's why I don't know what a Sonic Advance 3 is. And I was definitely doing it on just Sega. Nailed it. Oh, I don't know. I'll work on that. Maybe by the end of the stream, I'll try it one more time. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's hilarious. I can hear it in my head, and now it's really just trying to get it out there in the way he would sound. Cool. So I think we're done talking about Sonic 3. We're going to get into a little Nathan Fielder on CNN because this is one of the best interviews I've seen of someone that's really trying to make a statement. And of course, government people are not loving, the FAA is not loving what he's presenting. So we'll get into this a little bit. I'm going to really try not to get demonetized. So CNN, don't hate me. I'm promoting his show. And so I'll just play a little bit and we'll just keep pausing. Okay. So this is one of the best answers that Nathan could have given. And then I'll give some context after we watch a little bit of this.
We reached out to the FAA to see what it had to say about all of this. And it told us that it mandates all airline pilots and crew members to complete interpersonal communication training. And it says it isn't seeing the data. That's
okay. So in the rehearsal season 2, Nathan has kind of done all of these psychological experiments as he always does, and has kind of realized that one of the pivotal points of a plane crash, it's usually someone is afraid to speak in the cockpit. So it's usually like they don't want to like become condescending to the pilot, like the main guy flying, or they just feel like nervous, or they don't want to say anything. And then that specific choice not to speak up and say something usually results every time in a plane crash. If they were going to crash, like it doesn't help at all. And the one time it did work really well when someone did speak up was the Sully crash when he landed it into the Hudson. Like Sully like actually asked his co-pilot like, oh, do you have anything specific that or like do you have any suggestions, like just like that, very casual and calm. And then the pilot spoke up, and then they kind of like just it made it a lot more copacetic of like, let's just get this done and like let's make sure we don't crash. Whereas there's instances among instances, so many where you can see in the transcripts, and there's this like unsureness, and everyone's afraid to talk. It's so weird. And so I love that this was presented in the format of, kind of more of a comedy, even though it's still talking about serious issues, in that docu-style way that Nathan does. And so he was brought on CNN, and this is so the newscaster is kind of saying like, oh, the FAA kind of thinks you're full of shit. And I love this so much. I'll keep playing.
Supports the show's central claim that pilot communications is to blame for airline disasters. Well, so I want to get you to respond to that, obviously.
That's dumb. They're dumb. And here's the issue is that they do, like I trained to be a pilot, and I'm a 737 pilot. I went through the training. The training is someone.
And he has. You'll see that if you are watching season 2 of the rehearsal. Not only was he studying this like obsessively, he actually did get his license as a commercial pilot to actually test this theory out. So like in the rehearsal, he tests out every single little thing that like preparing people in real life, and a lot of times it is about himself. But in this case, he did want to test this that he's been working on for a while. So he did go through all the training, no shortcuts, and was able to fly a commercial flight, a 737, and now continues to still do that. He winds up taking abandoned aircrafts from one place to another place in the world, like flying them, which is fascinating. So
shows you a PowerPoint slide saying if you
and this is like what he's saying, what their actual training is. So like when it comes to the psychology behind, like he's saying it's very limited.
are a co
Whoops.
pilot and the captain does something wrong, you need to speak up about it. That's all. That's the training. And they talk about some crashes that happened, but they don't do anything that makes it stick emotionally and makes you like, so pilots think they'll act a certain way in an accident, but like the crash that just happened here, it seemed like they saw that was sort of the issue.
Yeah, so it is a time and time again problem. And there's a guy that he spoke with that was a part of the board of aviation, and there was kind of a not saying that every pilot's autistic or anything like that, but there was a strong observation that if there are autistic pilots, their communication skills, especially, might not be read well or maybe miscommunicated. And that was taken into consideration. And there was a response from that guy on the board that I definitely want to bring up because it was absolutely ridiculous. I believe it was.
We're Phoenix Energy,
Of
a
course it's an
family-owned
ad.
oil company focused on
The ad. And when you see this quote from this guy, you're going to be like, what? Because he dismissed him the whole time. He thought his theory was just like absolutely crazy.
We need to look at it in the light of CRM and see if we need to put a module in there that deals with
That's
this.
the training program
Right,
you're talking
as
about.
for training.
And do you
And
think
I
there
think
should be
what
more role-playing training? You said
Oh, no question.
in the rehearsal that you would actually propose that
Yes.
when you were in and that they rejected it. So you
Right.
think there needs to be more. What do you make of the fact the FAA says, well, there isn't data? I mean, obviously we know where Nathan
Here we are.
comes down on this, but what do you think?
Okay, so this
saying
is
his team was told you wanted to talk about autism and the difficulties people with the condition could have in an airplane crash. He also says most of the substantive parts of your interview never made it in the show. What are you hoping to get from that meeting?
this is the most absurd quote. If you watch it, it is such an uncomfortable interview. Nathan essentially is presenting him with tons of evidence, and this guy is so patronizing towards him. He is so dismissive. Clearly doesn't want to hear anything he has to say. So the fact that he is now, this is only because he looks bad in the show, for sure. So I just had to point that out. Let's go to the chat really quick and see what's going on. I have not seen the season 5 episode of the ending of You yet. I just watched the Folie à Deux episode, which we're going to talk about in a little bit right after this. I'm very excited though. I'm so curious. Yes. Oh, until after. Yes. Thank you. Nathan is my real dad. My first Sonic Adventures originally on the Dreamcast. My first Sonic game Adventures originally on the, okay. Yeah, I never had a Dreamcast. I know a lot of people that did though. And I'm sure I've heard the Sonic on the Dreamcast was awesome. I remember watching a video about a crash decades ago and it discussed the lack of communication there. Yeah, like absolutely. Like that's what and that's him. Whoops, kept confusing him with Nathan Fillion. Yeah, Nathan Fielder. Yeah, I can't recommend him enough. Like even his show on Comedy Central, I believe it was called Nathan for You. I think that's where you can watch it on Paramount. I'm not 1000% sure, but like that and The Rehearsal are just gems. NFG, have you watched Warfare? I might be biased because I was in that war, but I think for right now that movie takes home a lot of awards. I really want to see that. I know that's the same director that did Ex Machina, so I really, really, really want to see it. I was very disappointed by Civil War, but I've heard nothing but brilliant things about Warfare, so I'm very excited about that. I will keep you posted for when I eventually get to see it. He said he was influenced by a Canadian show on plane crashes. Yeah. So he's also like obsessively watching some type of documentary show from Canada that was also talking about this. but yeah, so you can like I'm not going to play this whole thing anymore, but like it's a great interview. This was a phenomenal season. Let me see what quote this is. Okay, yeah, we can skip to. Oh yeah, there was so when he flew, there were apparently a ton of birds, which is the same thing that happened to Captain Sully. And there's an entire episode kind of devoted to Captain Sully, where Nathan kind of tries to relive Captain Sully's life as like a newborn into teenagehood, into high school and college, and all that stuff. And there are some amazing revelations that are going to blow your mind, and they're hilarious. There are so many comedic moments. So like, I know this seems like a very serious show. It's not. It's just like the perfect blend of comedy and really addressing pretty serious stuff of like psychological stuff that happens in multiple different areas of life that they demonstrate. But there are so many comedic moments as well. So I'm just going to preach this show till the end of time. And you should start with season 1, because that'll give you kind of like a good, idea of what you're going to get into. This season though is much bigger. So if you think season 1's pretty big, this season got dramatically bigger, as you can see, because now he's doing legit interviews on CNN, not like when he was doing his Nathan For You and like, kind of trolling people all the time with the news, things like that. I'm glad he got his voice out to speak about this. Okay, so we're gonna finally get into the final topic, which is you. I'm almost done with it, everyone. Finally, almost done. At this point, I just cannot wait, because I have this picture up here because this is the latest episode, Folie à Deux. If we all remember, there was a little movie that came out this past year called Joker 2 Folie à Deux that had no idea what that phrase meant. And it's like a psychological, like almost like a mental illness shared by two people. Like that's kind of what the translation is. We did not see that at all in Joker 2, because when you have Harley Quinn lying the whole time, Lady Gaga's character is just lying to him the whole time, and he also doesn't even believe that he's crazy either. Like what? Like it makes absolutely no sense. So I'm glad that this concept was explored a little bit in You season 5, specifically this episode. You can tell already, like this shot reminds me so much of the shot in Joker 2, which the cinematography was gorgeous in Joker 2. Like I'm not gonna say anything negative about cinematography by far, because it was gorgeous. The movie just sucked. But like if you look at this shot, I wish I could pull them up side by side. If I had more time, I would have done the side by side. It looks like how she looked at Joker while he was in jail. This is one of the biggest breaks that Joe has ever had. It is now like, let me trust you, you trust me type of thing. And now Joe is in his cage, his box, Joe's box. And she does kind of have a reach to him that no one else kind of has. I know it's hard to believe, because Joe always thinks that like every single woman that he like has a thing with is the most amazing, incredible person that's going to change his life forever, and then he usually kills them. So but in this case, I think that it is interesting to choose like the one person that probably would work for him the most, have that come about at the very end of the show. And I think that's kind of what makes it so tragic, if you really think about it. Now, I'm not off the table of thinking that maybe she's still playing him, but after this episode, I would be shocked. I would be absolutely shocked after this episode. So that is, if that's the case, and she's not playing him, then this is a tragedy. I'm not condoning like what he has done, but I think especially throughout the seasons, I mean, there is a little bit of a validation, because these are typically like some of the worst people that he has killed. So it's not like, and the way that's demonstrated here too is kind of testing her and seeing if she is on board. and the way she does it, he's still giving her freedom, but then he's not at the same way of like letting her choose the way she wants to deal with this guy that was the worst and trying to threaten her and kill her and all this stuff, because he just winds up taking care of it anyway. These are very light spoilers, so I'm really not trying to. If you're in the middle of watching it or you just started, I know I'm very behind. So a lot of people have finished it already. That's why I kind of feel like I can talk a little bit more freely about it, since it is the final season. So I don't know. It's just I'm happy to see that concept has wasn't a total waste on Joker 2 that didn't get it. Let's see here. Also, did you finally watch I haven't. I'm going to. I know I'm that's my other show. So I've just been a little behind. My job's insane. So I can't wait to watch that as well. A part of me also kind of wants to take my time with Black Mirror because I just don't want it to go away, and then I have to wait for so long. But like at least, you know, I'm like right now I'm just like, let's get you over with because I just have to find out at this point what's going to happen. But I cannot wait for the USS Callister sequel. I'm gonna go watch the interview. Bye, Bubba. Yeah, go watch it. It's amazing. Loved it. Loved it. The cinematic masterpiece, Joker 2. Yeah, exactly. This is a much more superior version of that concept. I need a season 6 of You. I just go la 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 and cover my ears whenever anyone criticizes the gaping plot holes in the show. I'm obsessed. Yeah, like okay, I don't know. Maybe sure, there's probably a lot of plot holes in this show, but that's always going to be an issue when it comes to technology and as we progress and like things like that. Like there's certain shows that were made in the 50s or 60s and 70s that you couldn't make now because of like cell phones, for instance, or the internet. Like if there's plot holes in the show, do I care? No, because it's still like it's still at its core the show that it said it was going to be. And it still has twists and turns and interesting characters. So I'm with you, Terrace House guy. I do not care if there's a plot hole at all. Sometimes like there are certain decisions the characters make that make absolutely no sense. And I honestly I cannot stand Kate at this point. I think Kate is just the absolute worst. And I know she's like not really a bad person, but she's just handled everything with him so terribly. Like she's always been kind of like his mom, and it just freaks me out. Like, just, you know, I never understood why he became obsessed with her to begin with. Makes absolutely no sense. He needs a crazy girl like Bronte here to kind of like, that's the shared madness. You know what I mean? That's the Joker Harley Quinn dynamic. Except he's not really abusive. You know, like Joe's never been abusive to the women he's been in love with. Just like, you know, Joker's much more abusive. A film goer, I only got one more episode to go, but I'm ready to finally be done with the show. Personally, I am too. I definitely am as well, because there's only so much you can do, and I have been enjoying it, but I don't know. I've been enjoying the tail end of season 5 a lot more, I feel like, than the beginning of it. I'm okay with Joe gaslighting me into thinking there aren't plot holes. Yeah, I'm so fine with that. Cheers, Terrace House guy. I agree. Nerdy Kate gets so much hate. Yeah, because she sucks. Like she's not fun at all. Like, of course he's gonna like. I don't know. I'm not condoning him having an affair with Bronte and killing people, but like if I was married to her, like I would be so bored. Like that would be the most boring marriage of my life. I think the only reason he's really with her, even if he doesn't believe it, is because she's helped him get out of like not being caught of stuff he did in London and all that stuff. She's not some like innocent flower that he needs to save, and I feel like that's who he typically goes for. Or they're also like batshit crazy, just like Love was in season 2. Kate was insufferable in season 4. Yeah, thank you. Yes, she was. I actually adore Kate, but that's just me being British. Okay, well, I will say she did have a huge glow up from season 4 to season 5. Like she looks like way more attractive now. I don't know what they were thinking with that poor girl in season 4. They made her look so matronly and old and frumpy. Like she at least has like style now and like has a good haircut and like all that stuff. But and her makeup is so much better now. They aged her so much, I feel like, in season 4, and she's not that old. Just close them curtains. True. Nerdy, no. Look, murder is fine, okay, but I draw the line at cheating. But with Bronte, it feel like it would be hard to resist, right? I mean, she's so much more like, I don't know. Like, again, if Kate wasn't such a stick in the mud and like, I don't know. I just, I'm glad. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Kate's probably going to get him in jail permanently. Or he's going to die. I just don't see a happy ending where he runs off with Bronte. That's definitely not happening. I don't know if she's going to, I know a lot of people in here have actually finished this, so you probably all think I'm like just coming up with the craziest things that are not actually going to happen because you all know what happened. But just to speculate, like he's not running off with Bronte. It's not going to be happy. We all know this. Even though we would like to him to have a happy ending, he's not going to. He's either going to rot in jail forever or someone's going to kill him. Will it be Kate? Who knows? She also is not the best. She does not have the best karma. So who knows? Okay, let's see here. Well, the story is Penn Badgley didn't want the scenes to be that intimate as it was with his scenes with Love based on him not wanting to upset his. I don't think so. That's a bunch of BS. Where did he say this? Okay, did we see the Ariana Grande music video? Because that was spicy as hell. I don't think so. I don't know. And also, if you're married to Penn Badgley, like that goes with the job. Like you can't get jealous. It's a set. It's not sexy. They make it look sexy, but in reality, it is like 50 billion people like adjusting your arm and adjusting your head and like putting different lights on you. Like it is not what people think. So that would be absolutely crazy to me if his wife had a problem. I'm sorry, but like he is now like since the show has begun, she married a sex symbol to be completely honest. So like this is insane. If really there were things like this going on. I'm going to find the interview and find it. But yes. Okay. Well, enough about that. I think I'm going to call it a day. Thanks so much for stopping by. Next week, if you like it or you don't, I will probably be discussing the Tony Awards because they are next Sunday. And I have a few opinions about that. I know it's a theater thing, and you're typically here for movie stuff. So if you don't want to join, I totally understand. If you want to maybe see what's going on in New York on Broadway and what to look out for, then joining me might be fun. Sarah Snook from Succession might be a Tony Award winner on Sunday. I would not be shocked. But anyway, thanks so much for stopping by, and we'll see you all next time. If I can end it. Okay, finally ending it. Bye.